Good afternoon. This is Ron Macklin, Macklin. I'm the managing consultant at the Human Solution. And today we're going to discuss general ergonomic awareness in the office. As an overview, we're going to discuss what is ergonomics, the benefits of an ergonomics program, talk about injuries and their causes, identification of ergonomic risk factors. We're going to get into the various components of the office environment when it comes to ergonomics, and we're going to end up talking about how you can do your part from an injury prevention standpoint. So what is ergonomics? Ergonomics is an applied science concerned with the designing and arranging things that people use so that their interactions improve efficiency and safety. In a nutshell, what we want to do is we want to fit the job demands to the capabilities of the worker. We don't want to fit the worker to the job, we want to fit the job to the worker. Um, and we want to consider the equipment used. We want to look at work processes and the working environment. All of these components play a large role in how well your job and how well you do your job relates to you. So what are the benefits of an ergonomics program? Um, I think awareness is a key factor. Education. We decrease injuries, illnesses, and workers' comp through education and solution-based processes. Uh, we improve efficiency because we've improved the human-machine interaction, uh, and we increase productivity and quality through those interactions. We also lower absenteeism and turnover, as well as improve the wellness in general of the workforce through physical well-being and improved morale. So if you're in an environment to where you've got the tools that you need to do your job and it's not hurting you to do your job and stuff, you're going to feel better about what you do and you're going to work, more efficiently during the day. And then those sorts of um, advantages also relate to lower operational costs, increased productivity, and it improves the competitiveness of what you're doing at work in the marketplace, and improves the overall net worth of your organization. So let's talk a little bit about musculoskeletal disorders and some of the injury aspects of what we need to talk about today. So musculoskeletal disorder, which is called MSDs, these are injuries and disorders that affect the body's movement or musculoskeletal system, i.e. muscles, tendons, ligaments, nerves, discs, blood vessels, etc. So basically the mechanical structure of you, the person. Okay. So why talk about them? Well, one reason is that the MSDs or musculoskeletal disorders make up the single largest category of workplace injuries, according to the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics. and are responsible for 30% of all workers' comp costs. So that's a pretty large group, pretty large number. U.S. companies spent over $50 billion on disabling workplace injuries. This is an annual thing. And indirect costs can be up to 5 times the cost of an MSD. And the average MSD has a direct cost of almost $15,000. So when we look at MSDs, MSDs are a progression of injuries, or should I say a progression of stress that result in injuries over time. And we have ergonomic risk factors, which basically involve force, posture, and repetition. And we also have individual risk factors, which add to this equation in the environments of poor work practices, poor fitness, poor health habits. Example, if you're a smoker or if you're overweight, these things will be individual risk factors that can contribute to other risk factors, the ergonomic risk factors, and our exposure to potential development of a musculoskeletal disorder. In concert with that, we have a fatigue, or in other words, we have a work and recovery environment. So as we work, we fatigue. And if we don't listen to our body and we don't allow our body to recover properly through rest cycles, we end up overloading our body's recovery system. And this creates an imbalance in the musculoskeletal system. And over time, as the fatigue continues and we continue to overload the body's ability to recover, these imbalances, as they persist, they can lead to musculoskeletal disorder developments. So this slide here basically just kind of giving you some awareness of some common types and causations of RSIs. And RSI, which is repetitive strain injury, is another term for MSD. But some of these common injury types, carpal tunnel for one, which is repetitive work with bent or wrist contact stress, and with contact stress, I'm sorry. Tendinitis basically is continually repetitive movements. We're continually working our muscles and we don't allow them a chance to rest, and through that we get inflammation, and inflammation causes the tendinitis. Back strain, poor postures, poor bending techniques, lifting, twisting, things of that nature, which tends to wear on the musculoskeletal system. Neck and shoulder tension, forward head posture, resting on elbows. There's a number of things that involve neck and shoulder tension, including the two that I just mentioned here. Having our armrest too high tends to push our shoulders up, and maybe we're holding them up and we're not realizing that we're holding them up. Sometimes the fact that we are looking at our screen so intently that we don't realize that we're actually looking into the screen, so we have this this turtleneck syndrome going on, so we're extending our neck to read the screen. That causes discomfort over time. And then we also have circulatory problems. So these are where we have static and awkward postures in play, and whenever we have a static posture, it means that our blood flow is not continually being refreshed by oxygen, and so we start to fatigue quicker. Awkward postures, those are kind of obvious things. If we're out of position, we tend to put more stress on joints and body parts than when we're in a good posture. So let's talk a little bit about workstation considerations, which is primarily what we've all kind of want to know a little bit more about. Let's talk posture to start with. So our sitting posture, we'd like to start out upright sitting, back straight. In other words, your back is engaged to your seat, the backrest on your seat. Basically, we want to have our arms coming down to our hips, and our hips going out to our knees and downward to create approximately a 90-degree angle to the floor. We want our head over our shoulders, not leaning forward. Arms, and same as the legs, so we want to basically have that 90-degree starting point. Back against the backrest, feet flat on the floor or resting on a proper footrest. And you can see the photograph in the picture here. When we get into declined or reclined postures, those tend to be problematic, but at the same time, there are some individuals that have some musculoskeletal issues already that we may need to accommodate in some of those areas. But these are the general guidelines from a seated posture standpoint. Standing, body as neutral as possible. Position the work so forearms are parallel to the work surface is the goal. Work layout. All aspects of your workstation play a role. Positioning of your tools is as important as how you use them. You can see here in the graphic that we have an area that's basically made up of the elbow sweep range. So if you take your arms and just rest them at your side and have your hands at 90, or your forearm at 90 degrees, and then move your elbow or move your hands in and out without moving your elbows away from your body, that constitutes the sweep zone of the forearm. Okay, that's where your most frequent work is done, or your usual work is done. The next zone out would be to raise your arm out to where it's extended and we're moving the arm about the shoulder. Okay, that's the occasional work zone. In other words, maybe you've got something that you have to grab, whether it's a file or whether it's a stapler or something that you use occasionally. It's not something that you're using constantly. Then you want to place those items out in that shoulder reach zone. Okay, so we have the elbow reach zone and we have the shoulder reach zone. These are the two primary areas that we want people to understand what sort of work we are going to do within those areas. All right, so things that you do frequently, you want to have them close to your body and with elbow reach zone. Things that you don't use frequently, you can put those out further away and use them less frequently. In an office environment, the concept of reaching is, I would say, very much underestimated. Um, Overreaching is a form of RSI, which leads to fatigue and in some cases uh, can add to create an injury. There's the two reach zones we just talked about, two active reach zones from the shoulder and from the elbow. All reaches should be within reach using the shoulder to hand grip position. Highly used or frequent activities should be positioned uh, within the reach zone defined by the elbows. And I've given you some guidelines here number wise. So small female, roughly about 15 inches, and the large male about 19 inches. And these are important because we don't want you to overreach. We don't want you to have to bend your torso to reach something, um, and that's regardless of frequency. Those are added pressures to your skeletal system and should be avoided where you can avoid them. So keyboard position considerations. General considerations, the keyboard should be positioned at elbow height or maybe just below elbow height. The support surface height for input devices, this is your keyboard and mouse. If on a fixed position, let's say a fixed tabletop, should not be less than 29.4 inches, and this is measured from the top of the work surface. These numbers are defined through standards and really are built around the 95th percentile male, the large male. So that enables him to get underneath the desktop, get his feet in the area that's defined for where his feet goes, and the other parts of the posture spectrum, the small female and stuff, generally would have to be elevated to get up to that point, or we make other adjustments like putting a keyboard tray in place or other things. So we'll talk a little bit about that as we go. The average keyboard thickness at the home row is about 1 inch, so you can kind of get a feel for just a fixed desk height of where your keyboard's resting in relationship to your elbow height. So workstation adjustments to achieve proper keyboard alignment. Adjust height of chair and use a footrest if needed. Install a keyboard tray. And sometimes this isn't always practical, so we kind of have to look at the environment to see how that's going to play. If it's in a cubicle, the work surface is generally adjustable, and they're generally adjustable in increments of 1 inch. So there's opportunity to change the height of that work surface in order to fit the individual in most cases. When we talk about monitors, general considerations around monitors, it should be positioned such that the menu ribbon is at direct eye height, and that's seated or standing. Okay, so we want to be able to get the monitor at a height to where we don't have to raise our head to see the top of the screen. Our eyes are designed to look straight out and down approximately 30 to 35 degrees, and then also scan left to right about 30 degrees in either direction. Single monitors should be positioned directly in front of the user. Monitors with the 4:3 screen ratio should be positioned nominally about 18 to 24 inches from the user. When we get into larger screen size, which is pretty common today, I mean, I'm sitting in front of two 24-inch screens. The distance can then increase because the screen sizes are larger, and you're not able to scan the entire screen without being a little bit further away. Okay, so an example here is that a 22-inch widescreen monitor can be positioned at about 35 inches from the user comfortably. Okay. When we're looking at multiple monitor considerations, dual monitors should be positioned as I've shown here in the this lower picture down here, to where the two monitors are basically, butted up against each other. And if there's 3 monitors or an odd number of monitors, you want to have your primary monitor be the one that's directly in front of you, and then have the secondary monitors that go out from either side of that. So you're using the monitor that's in a odd number monitor system, using the monitor that your most used monitor is in front of you. So the work environment in general. So lighting, noise, and climate or temperature in the environment can have an impact. Lighting, glare from the overhead lights or stray light windows or similars can cause eye strain, which can lead to fatigue and low productivity. So we want to pay attention to make sure that the lighting is good in your area, or it's not there's not too much light that's causing glare on the screens and causing you to get fatigued throughout the course of the day. Noise, loud noises in the office, copiers, printers, other equipment can lead to increased stress. Noise drives us, drives our stress level up. It really does. If we're concentrating on something, or if we're having to listen to somebody in the office complaining about, their lunch or whatever, whatever it is, every day, all day long, then, that wears on you, and that's not good. So we want to be mindful of that. And if there's a printer next to you, if there's a copier next to you, and you're always getting interrupted or hearing this thing going off, maybe it's a good thing to try and get your facilities people to try and relocate that, or relocate you, so you're not overly stressed by it. Look at climate. Too cold, too hot, large swings in temperatures can have an effect on worker productivity. I go into many offices, and just about every office I walk in, or every cubicle I walk in, that there's a female there, and a lot of times males too. There's always a sweater or something on the chair. So we need to be mindful about that, and it's not a bad thing that you have to put a sweater on because you get cold, but sometimes it can be an indicator that you need to get up and go move. You need to get up and get your blood working again, because you've been static for too long. So you need to pay attention to not just the climate in the room, but also if your body's starting to tell you that, hey, I'm getting cold, I need to move. Work pace and stress levels, the work activity, tasks, deadlines, etc., can affect worker productivity and may lead to behaviors that can increase the potential for MSDs, and we want to try and pay attention to that. The way the work is designed, what the rotations are, things of that nature, all play a part in the work environment, and has an effect from an ergonomic standpoint. The sequence of work can influence worker productivity, and it may also influence behaviors that lead to increased risks associated with RSIs or work-related musculoskeletal disorders. Something that we're getting more and more called to talk about is laptop use. We get into meetings, we're taking our laptops everywhere, and sometimes we can be in all-day meetings, and we wonder why our body hurts at the end of the day. So laptop considerations. So proper laptop use, extended use, I'm going to say for greater than an hour. Okay, this is kind of a starting point. And if you feel like you've got some discomfort, you may want to reduce that to, say, 30 minutes. But elevating the laptop by placing it on a laptop stand will raise the height of the screen to match the eye level or get closer to it, reducing flexion of the neck, and keep the upper back and shoulders against the backrest of the chair. All right, again, we don't want to be hunched over our laptop screen looking, and banging on it for any longer than we have to. Using peripherals, input devices like external keyboard and mouse will decrease the reach distances provided and provide a more natural or more neutral posture for the upper extremities, which is basically your shoulders and your upper body. So align the keyboard and monitor with basically the belly button or the umbilicus to avoid twisting and turning of the neck. Okay, so basically we want things to be in a line. We want the height of the screen to be up such that you're not having to look down on the screen, and we don't want our arms out extended on the laptop keyboard. So using a external keyboard and mouse really do come in handy when you're having to work off your laptop for extended periods. So the next thing that we'd like to talk about is stretching and breaks. So periodic breaks in the day combined with stretching routines can lower risk associated with MSDs. Micro breaks are small pauses in the workflow process that enable change in posture, increase blood flow, and allow body to rest even for a short period of time. Okay. There's a rule of thumb that a lot of people talk about, a lot of ergonomists use, and that is the 20-20-20 rule. So every 20 minutes you want to change your eye position for 20 seconds. You want to look at something that's 20 feet away. Okay. I want to go beyond that and say, look, every 20 minutes, every 30 minutes, you should get up and stretch, get up and walk around, go get a cup of coffee, go to the printer and get your print job. Instead of IMing somebody, go talk to them. Instead of picking up the phone, just go talk to them. When you're having, maybe you want to have a meeting, and instead go do a walking meeting. Go grab somebody and say, hey, let's go talk about this, and go for a quick walk. You want to put motion in your workday. Okay, so stretches help to get blood flow flowing, reduces fatigue, and it helps to relax your body. I've got an example down here of some stretches, and you can look at the website that's there and see what else they have. They have like 29 different little stretch routines that you can do. But the important thing here is that we want you to move. We want you to get that blood flowing, every 20 to, 30 minutes. Get up and do something. So what can you do? Well, one thing you can do is, become aware of your workstation and your habits while you're at work. Identify what works and what's not working. Change those behaviors that aren't right and cause you pain or lower your productivity. Watch out for others. Accountability is key in developing good productive habits. So, keep others accountable and have them keep you accountable. And become empowered. Don't become a statistic. Okay? And you can see Homer here he's got good body mechanics, which is where we're trying to get to. And we don't want, ourselves to find ourselves falling into our screens by the end of the day. So we need to keep each other accountable and be mindful of our conditions. And with that, we're done. So I do thank you for your time, and I look forward to talking to you another time.